What is it about uncertainty that is so uncomfortable? I've noticed this with myself. I've noticed this with my coaching clients, with friends, with family. There's just something about not knowing what's going to happen or when something specific is going to happen that can just be so uncomfortable. And it's really common when we're dealing with uncertainty that we can start to feel really impatient. And in today's video, I want to talk about how to shift from feeling that like impatient discomfort, kind of like you're grappling, you have this contentious relationship with uncertainty, over to befriending uncertainty and relating to it in a way where you can stay grounded, you can stay curious, and oh, it gets so juicy. There's so much empowerment here. It's kind of like a superpower, like especially when you think about how common uncertainty is in our lives, whether you're experiencing it now in a big way or you're about to. Get ready. This is life. Uncertainty is part of the deal. And if we can find a way to befriend uncertainty, it's kind of like having a superpower. So let's get into it. I'm really excited. My name's Michaela. If you didn't know already, this is Coaching with Michaela. And as with all my videos, by the end of this video, my goal is for you to have greater self-awareness, greater self-compassion, and practical tools that you can use today that help you to engage with this material and help you to feel it on a nervous system level versus just a mental theoretical level. Now, today's video is much more theory, and I do plan to do a specific tap along video on this topic of uncertainty and specifically feeling impatient with uncertainty, because I think impatience seems like one of the very common flavors of nervous system response to uncertainty that we have. So look for that. That'll be good. I'll link it below once it's out. Now, for today's video, we're going to talk about this understanding of, okay, why do we relate to uncertainty with impatience, with discomfort? And then we're going to talk about what it would be like and the paradigm shifts and even the tools that we can use to relate to uncertainty from this more empowered, grounded, dynamic place. And we're also going to talk about why that's even valuable, why we would even want to do that. So let's start there. Why would we want to relate to uncertainty from a more grounded place? Well, one, it's so common, it's happening all the time. And if that means that anytime we deal with uncertainty, that we're going to get kind of activated and off center, that means we're going to be off center a lot of the time. So that doesn't seem ideal, right? So that's one reason. It's like, oof, well, if uncertainty is basically this kind of thing that's going to push us out of integrity, out of being centered, out of feeling present and enjoying our lives, that's not great. We want to shift that dynamic, right? It's a presence that's here. Let's change how we're relating to it. But the other thing is, and this is where I get really excited, those moments where we're coming face to face with uncertainty can be very confronting. And this is where it can be an incredible opportunity for growth. And I know that might just sound like the most annoying thing for me to be saying right now. Like, oh my God, this is a great opportunity for your growth. I get it. I get it, and I'm sorry. And at the times where uncertainty or whatever challenge you might be going through feels so hard, so intense, that framing it as any opportunity just feels upsetting and dismissive and kind of spiritually bypassing, that's really a cue that you need more care and that you need more deep understanding and compassion and acknowledgement. And so if this idea that, hey, uncertainty is an opportunity is rubbing you the wrong way, that in my mind is a really great cue that you just need more compassion and understanding. So maybe that's even that you pause this video here and you go journal and you just like write down and like articulating things out through handwriting it out, or maybe it's a voice memo to yourself or to a friend, articulating what you're experiencing and how it's hard and why it's hard and the pain of it and the challenge of it and the frustration of it. Sometimes we need to spend more time with that. And I did a short recently about this really cool thing called tap and rant, where you just basically say all the things that are going on, the pain, the challenge, while tapping on acupressure points. And part of what this does is that the tapping sends a calming signal to your body, to your brain, and helps you know that you're safe. It's like soothing your nervous system while you're expressing the stress. So it's like the articulation of the stress brings it up to the surface, and then the tapping helps to move it through your system. And tapping will naturally kind of help you take deeper breaths, stretch a little, soften a little. So that's kind of a side point, but really important here actually, of like, don't spiritually bypass yourself. Don't rush to like, this is an opportunity for amazing growth. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. And once you feel more held, more honored, and that could take a month. It could take, 15 minutes. It could take a month. It's whatever you really need, right? Being deeply present with yourself. But it's important to witness how dynamic our experiences are. Even when we're in pain, it's not constant. It comes in waves, right? So witness the nuance of it. That was totally a tangent. I'm really glad we did it though. I think that was really important. So assuming that you're at the point where the way you're relating to uncertainty is more from this space of it's irritating. It's an agitation. You feel impatient with it. You feel kind of like it's distracting and maybe causing some anxiety type sensations in your system. Or maybe even some kind of depressive symptoms, right? Where you're kind of like shut down, closed off. Yeah, honestly, if it's more the depressive way, I think that's more of a need for care and expression and articulation. So go to that phase of it. But if you're more just in the agitated state, I think that's a really great opportunity for this kind of paradigm shift that I want to introduce. And what that really looks like is acknowledging and even talking to the parts of yourself. You can like put your hand on your heart, talk to yourself about how, hey, I see that you're impatient. I see that you're uncomfortable with this uncertainty about when that certain health thing's going to happen, or what's going to happen with this business deal, or where we're going to live, or when we're going to meet our person, or whatever it might be. Acknowledging that part that feels uncomfortable with it first is so powerful. And then realizing that so much of the unsafety is actually a lack of presence. Specifically, a lack of presence in the present moment. So often when there's something that's uncertain in our lives, our brain doesn't like open loops. And so it goes to try to close that loop, to try to solve that problem, to try to figure out, okay, but what's the resolution? What's the resolution though? But what's the resolution? Seriously. And so our brain starts to go out into the future and maybe even pulls from the past examples, experiences, but it goes out away from this present moment to try to figure it out, to try to imagine all the possibilities and contingencies, and we get outside of ourselves. And so really, when we start to feel that impatience, feel that that part that wants to go out and figure it out, there's two things that we can do that are so powerful. One, we can acknowledge that part of our brain that really wants to go figure it out, and we can actually give it a different job. We can give it the job of, hey, we're going to think about what could happen, how we're going to handle it, but we're going to do it in a contained format. So I've even heard teachers talk about this where they're like, if your brain keeps going to oh, but what about that thing? But what about that thing? Like it's worry or whatever it is. They talk about scheduling a certain time, like I am only allowed to worry about that for 20 minutes at 4 p.m. today or something like that. So you can schedule a time or like set aside a time of like, we can think about that, but not right now. We're going to think about that at this specific time. And we'll really get in there. So giving the brain this kind of assurance, like we will think about it, just not right now. The other task you can give your mind, and really in a way more your awareness, is what's going on right now? How can I notice my current experience more vividly? The air on my skin, I've got a little fan blowing on me because it's kind of hot back here. The clothing on my skin. The smells in the air. How hungry am I? How full am I? Am I thirsty? What time of day is it? What colors am I seeing around me, right? Like getting present with what's present here right now. So give your mind something to focus on, like the present moment and what's around you, sensation-wise. So giving your mind those two tasks of like, hey, we will think about this later, and right now, what's going on right now? What are we doing right now? Where are you? Now, the other invitation that agitation with uncertainty brings us to, so there's the mind, kind of refocusing the mind, but then there's also this refocusing of the nervous system. So often when we start to go back into the past to try to figure out what happened before or try to figure out what might happen in the future, our nervous system gets activated, and we can notice that with sensations in our body. So it might be that we kind of lose track of our body, right? It's almost like, I don't have a body anymore. I'm just my thoughts. Or we can get a lot of tightness or holding our breath. And so the other invitation here is to bring your presence and sensation back into your body. So that might even include like moving, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, shimmying your shoulders, breathing fully into your diaphragm, into your belly, like just letting yourself inhabit your body fully right now. And the cool thing about these two things of kind of working with the mind, working with the body, is that they're very present moment. And our feeling state, our more emotional state, often follows these two things, right? So the mind and the body really influence our emotional state. So let's put this in a scenario. There you are. Maybe there's some event that's going to happen. Maybe it's like a health thing, a work thing, a social thing, but you don't know exactly when it's going to happen. You just know it's going to happen soon, but you don't know when. And you're waiting to hear back from somebody about when it's going to happen. And honestly, even as I say that right now, I can feel the way my nervous system responds to that discomfort with uncertainty. I feel this clenching in my solar plexus of like, oh God, I hate not knowing. So that's a narrative in there, right? And if I were my own client right now, I'll just model for you. I would ask my client, so what goes on when you think of that situation? What thoughts do you have? What emotions do you have? What do you feel in your body? And how does your breath change? Those are these like 4 parts of the system. And I noticed right away there's the thought of, I hate uncertainty, almost like that's some kind of core belief. And so if I were the coach, I would write that down. Okay, I hate uncertainty. And that becomes a phrase that we can tap on. Then tuning into the feeling state, there's this kind of like heavy dread feeling, like, oh God, it's just so uncomfortable, right? It's like dread and heaviness and kind of hopelessness, helplessness. So I'd write all those things down. And then we tune into the body. Okay, what's going on with the body? There's this clenching, I said, right, in my solar plexus, almost like 2 fists kind of closing in. Anything else? Let's see. I feel my shoulders kind of hiking up a little bit and some tension in my throat. Okay, and we make note of all those. And then we tune into the breath. Okay, what's going on with the breath? When I think about, I'm waiting to hear back from somebody about when this specific thing's going to happen. I notice my breath gets shallow. I'm still breathing, but it's all kind of up here. It's high up. So it's kind of shallow versus deep down and like belly breathing. And so we make note of that. Awesome. So now that we have this snapshot of the system and how the system is responding to uncertainty, we can work with it. The first thing, and this goes back to my goals for our video, the first thing is, here we are, we have greater self-awareness. We just got like what the signature, unique signature of my system is when I interact with that moment of uncertainty, that not knowing when I'm going to hear back about this thing and when it's going to happen. How cool is that? Greater self-awareness, greater self-compassion. This is so cool. We often do this in tapping, or I especially like to include phrases like this of acknowledging how normal and how reasonable it is to feel exactly how you feel. Anybody who's been through what you've been through would feel this way. Anybody who's going through this current experience would feel this way. It makes so much sense. It's so normal. Your system is doing the best it can with the resources and knowledge and programming it has. You are right where you need to be. And from here, we can create something beautiful, right? So there's this acknowledgement of compassion of like, hey, you're doing a good job. You're doing the best you can with what you have, right? So we can use those phrases in tapping. We can also use those phrases in our own mind, in a journal form of just being kind to ourselves of like, hey, it's really okay. Whatever you're experiencing, I'm here. I see you. I appreciate you. It's okay. We're okay. And I feel my nervous system, right, take like a beat from just even hearing that, right? It's like, oh, right. Yeah. We're just doing our best. We're just being a human, doing our best. So, self-awareness, self-compassion, tools. This is where we start to give tools of paradigm shifts or even like nervous system stuff. So, right, so there's that, okay, the next time I feel this, I'm going to remind myself that it's not forever, that I can worry and or think about this strategically at a certain time. I'm not going to let it just take up all my time. And how can I get really present right now? And so then when we use those tools of like orienting ourselves physically to the space, to our own bodies, we bring more presence to our own bodies by breathing. And this is where, and I will always talk about this in all my videos because I'm such a nerd about tapping, but this is where tapping is so valuable because you can just tap on these acupressure points. And it's especially powerful when you've stirred it up, when you've brought this greater awareness to the 4-part system that I talk about of your mind, your feelings, your body sensations, and your breath. And once you're aware of all that, and then you tap and you acknowledge, hey, it's okay. It's normal that you feel this way. It's totally understandable that you feel this way. You can start to relax a little bit. And this, from this place of kind of some neutrality, equilibrium, ease, it's easier to be open to a new paradigm. Rather than having a contentious relationship with uncertainty, we can befriend it. Because, and this is where we get to explore yummy what ifs. What if uncertainty is actually this powerful field of possibility? Right? I mean, it's this space of, one of my beloved friends and incredible tarot card reader people described the fertile void. That phrase is so poetic to me. I love it so much. Uncertainty is the fertile void. The unknown is the fertile void. It's this space that is so ripe with possibility, with because it's not fixed, because it's not manifest and concrete. There's so much possibility there. So, in the space of uncertainty, rather than feeling dread, rather than feeling anxiety, rather than feeling fear, what if we could relax into it and even let that shimmery possibility start to creep in around the edges of, wait, so much is possible from here. The way that I've been able to experience the most kind of grounded excitement around uncertainty is when I get present. And that's why with the tapping, with the body awareness, I was really focusing on bringing us out of the future, out of the past, and into the present. Because I think that's part of why uncertainty feels uncomfortable. It pulls us out of the present, and then we get uncomfortable. Because in this moment, right here, right now, if you're here watching this video with me, chances are you are safe. You can take a deep breath. You can connect with your body. You can connect with your heart, your integrity, and you can connect with the resourcefulness of your mind and your intelligence. And moment by moment, as we're connected with ourselves, we are so powerful. We are so resilient. And from that place of centeredness, I really love that concept of being centered, we can face whatever arises. Whatever, as uncertainty goes from uncertainty and that fertile void to certainty and something specific and concrete, then we need to relate to it, right? And we need to make a decision or take action or respond. And we can do that so well if we're centered, and we can live a life of integrity when we're centered like this. And that just comes from being present. I recently did a future self workshop, and I was sharing with the group how when I chat with my future self, which is often, time and time again, she emphasizes, and she said it once very, very directly to me when I was asking her, like, what's the most important thing for me to focus on? She said, be exquisitely present. And part of why she was saying that was because she was actually wanting me to savor the beauty that's in my life right now that I might not be appreciating. I get emotional about it. Because she knows that things change. And yes, she has certain things that I'm hungry for, that I'm eager for, that I can be impatient about. But she also knows that I have things that she misses, or that she really wants me to savor now because it's precious. So presence and being present empowers us to relate to uncertainty as a friend, right? It's like, this isn't a threat. This is a friend. There's opportunity. As long as I'm present with myself, I can handle what arises. Presence also enables us to savor what's here, to savor the preciousness. So I hope that this was helpful. If it was, please put an emoji down in the comments below, like, subscribe. I am totally going to do a tapping on this because, obviously that would be really juicy. So we're going to do it. And that'll be coming out soon, and I'll link that below. If you don't already know how to tap, I've also linked my how to tap video below. But may you be well, may whatever uncertainty you're facing become a cool opportunity for you to play with being present with yourself and reframing uncertainty as opportunity rather than a threat. Because you've got your own back. You have these tools, you have the self-compassion. You've got it. Okay, more soon.